All right, all right. Good day to everybody. Blessings on your life. I look the same, but I have changed in a few minutes, in a few hours. I look the same. It's the same day, but the message is going to be different. I told you that in my last message, whichever one. I don't even know how I'm gonna post this, right? But yeah, so I'm going down a marathon of messages right now because freely given, freely give. God just overshadows me with so much that I have to get it out. It's like Jeremiah said, it's like fire that's shut up in my bones, and so I can have 4 or 5 messages going on at the same time. And so I'm just delivering my soul. And as I do this, some people would say, well, man, I'm struggling just to get a word. Well, for me, it's not like that. This stuff comes like manna. It's fresh daily, and God is faithful. That means that He never stops. And so I don't try to hoard stuff because I hear so much that we can just do one message after the next all day long. Some time ago, in the very in the very early past, recent past, I should say, I I talked to you guys about a situation that I had when I was a little boy. One of the things that I dealt with was eczema, which was an autoimmune deficiency, and that was passed on in the bloodline, and it is to be actualized, it is to be experienced in different ways because the enemy wants to trick us to think. I've been sitting for a minute, so I'm squirming around because this chair got hard now. The enemy wants us to think that whatever disease or issues that we have, it's very common. And he wants us to ride with the common things, especially when it's been vetted by science, the medical field, your doctors. And so when they come up and they say, well, this is the diagnosis, and this is treatable or it's not treatable, this is just the way it is, the enemy wants us to rest with that. So I was telling you guys that I went to the dealership, and while I was there, I had to have my car serviced. And I looked at myself because I just got up in the morning, and I just had enough time to wash my face and brush my teeth, throw a hat on, put some clothes on, and go because I was late. So when I turned the camera on to do, share a little time with you all, I looked, and I looked different, right? And so I saw where I had changed. And so I saw premature, and it just depends on which way, I turn my neck, turn my head, or I move my muscles, that you can see where the skin, especially right in this area, has been is aging. I should say it's aging a little bit. However, my follow-up behind that was that it was premature because black don't crack. We all understand that, right? And that is a colloquialism. That's not necessarily true. But in my family, my mom had beautiful skin, although she started to sag in her 60s and 70s as a result of gravity. And it's like I took all the bad stuff from my mom and I took all the bad stuff from my dad. Whatever they had bad, either one of them, I got it all. Conversely, my dad, when he died at 85, he didn't have no rolls underneath. He didn't have no stretches on his neck, no folds. He looked like a man that was probably in his late 50s. Okay, if he didn't have all that gray on him, you wouldn't know that he was 85. You just wouldn't know that because he didn't look 85 by no stretch. So my point is this: is that I don't necessarily have that in my DNA. Save my mom a little bit, but she was light skinned. I ain't light skinned. Okay, I'm a brown, I'm a caramel brother, right? So I got that benefit. I got the benefit. However, when I was a kid, I got this autoimmune deficiency called eczema. And I know y'all say, well, I mean, eczema is common. That's what the enemy wants you to think, that it's common and everybody get it. But It depends. Eczema can be so bad that you can't walk, depending on where you like you get it on your legs and stuff like that. It can rip your skin. I had it to where it was just awful. Pus. Uh, I scaled up like a snake, and so it was really pronounced on my neck in this area of my neck, and all up through here, all on my face, all around my mouth, everything. I had it all on my arms, my legs. I had it everywhere. It was just like taking over me. So at that time, from a medical standpoint, and you have to consider the understanding and knowledge of my parents. Both my mom and my dad, they worked, but they were from the country. They wasn't really educated. And then the doctors that we went to that was in the dermatology field, they weren't educated enough either. Even to this day, they still don't know how to deal with autoimmune deficiencies like eczema. And so the treatment that they would give me was steroids, and I would take a steroid type pill, prednisone. I would take this steroid cream that was really high in its percentage. There's a doctor in Mansfield, his name was Dr. Brody, and he was like the premier doctor for dermatology. And so I became a household name in there to where I had to go weekly, and I did it weekly for many years, right? So they all knew me. I was just part of the fabric. I came up, and I would lay in this bed, and they would put this, some of them was sometimes it was isolated. They put this lamp, and the lamp would literally burn me. And then they would put me under like a tanning booth, but it wasn't a tanning booth, and they would do the whole body thing. And so that's how I lived, and I would go every week, but I didn't get the same treatment every week. The lights would only happen either every 2 weeks or once a month. But I did that for so many years. Hold on, I'm trying to make a point. So they did. The nurses told me and the doctor told me that because my eczema was so extensive, that as I got older, that this would thin my skin out, and this was the biggest area, was on my neck, that it would skin my skin out. And so, I rolled with it at the time. It was like, you got to take the lesser of the two poisons. And for me, as a kid, I just was getting talked about and everything, and I just couldn't live with that. I mean, it's very depressing, and I was turning into a monster. And so I went the route of give me the lamps, give me the steroids, give me the pills, give me whatever you got to give me. But I stayed on this stuff too long, and ultimately it thinned my skin out, especially on my neck and stuff. It thinned me out. So now at 60 years old, and it's just happened, like within months, I noticed like, man, my skin done changed. And some people could say that, that's age. But in my case, it's not, because my skin, my skin is not lumpy. I don't have, what do they call that? Cellulite. I don't have none of that stuff. I still look relatively young. So this is not a result of aging. What I have is a result of an enemy. Shameless plug. I wrote a book. The book is While Men Slept, Spiritual Warfare, by none other than yours truly, Dr. Donnie Eatman. And in this book, it deals with how the enemy came in and he sowed tares amongst the wheat while men were sleeping. That means that he did stuff that you not have knowledge of. There was not a knowing. I didn't know that Johnny did this to me. I didn't know that Susie did this to me. I didn't know that I was born with this. I didn't know certain things. And so we are absent of knowledge. And the book of Hosea 4:6 says that my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge or knowing. Gnosko, gnosko, epignosko. There's a knowing, but it's a knowing with different layers, different levels. To know in the natural, to know by your spirit, and to know by the spirit. Those are all knowledges. We'll talk about that at some other time. That's gnosko, gnosko, epignosko. But all of these deal with a certain knowing or to perceive. And so we are destroyed for a lack of knowing or perception. So in the book, it deals with that. The enemy came in and he did something to me, and I was not aware of. Either I was in my mother's womb, or some facet of whatever. But when he did it, he didn't let me in on what he was doing. When he did it, my mother didn't know that this was what was going on. And so many of us, we live in this space of Christianity, and we are absent of the real warfare. We are absent of the power of God. We are absent of what this is all about, because we only experience God on an earthly realm. That's usually like the length and breadth of our experience. And so when I look at this, I have to juxtapose it to, when I look at this book, I have to juxtapose it to my life. And so with that, I know that this was not a place as a result of age. It was premature age, because an enemy came in. So today, very briefly, I want to engage us, if you will, from the subject reversal. The reason why this is germane to me is because I want to reverse something, because it's not a natural progression in my life. I understand that something happened to me. And because I understand that something happened to me, God has given me the insight through even my writing of this book. I also know that if it happened to me, it can be reversed. If the enemy is a part of it, it can be reversed in my life, because it was a plan, it was a strategy, it was a scheme of the enemy to do something to me, to wreak havoc in my life. That's what the enemy wanted to do. And so as I was thinking about this, as I taught the messages, in the recent past about this skin condition, and how I identified it as me aging a little bit, it was brought to my attention. What are you going to do about that? Can I accept it because it's life? And a lot of people say that I'm vain, and there's a vein. I'm gonna admit that I got some vainness to me. There's a certain way that I want to look, certain way that I want to dress, certain way that I want to live. So there's some trueness to it, but there's also a very good balance in my life. I just like to, I like good stuff. I like to smell good. I like to present myself in a certain way. To me, I don't look at all that as being vain. To me, it's just being a good steward over my body, who I am, right? So, but in this case, I look at this and I'm like, I don't like that. I don't like me having stretch marks or wrinkles or whatever. And to me, the type of person that I am, I'm going to deal with this one way or the other. I'm going to deal with it one way or the other. So what came up in my spirit was, if the enemy did it to you, get him back. And I'm saying this because a lot of us, we have stopped at this place where he puts so many things in the field, so many tares, that we say this is just life. And what God is challenging me with is, it's not just life, it's an enemy came in, and an enemy did this to you. And if an enemy did this to you, that you can reverse it. You don't have to live like this, because this was not a part of the original plan for your life. The enemy came in. He brought on the discoloration and all these different things. He did this to you. So you can either live like that, or you can go into warfare, and you can look one way today, and you go into the mirror a little bit down the road, and you can look at yourself and see where the hand of God came in on your life. Now, I know a lot of y'all don't believe that, just like you don't believe if a man come in with a hand that's withered, which means that there is no hand or no arm, that God can stretch forth something that wasn't there. A lot of y'all don't believe that you can be raised from the dead. A lot of you don't believe that you can have a new heart without getting a transplant. A lot of you don't believe that you can get new kidneys without being cut in and all that kind of stuff. You don't believe a lot of this stuff. And so I get that. But I do. I believe crazy stuff. I believe that, I can be healed. I've been shown that over and over again. What happens is, every time you turn around, because this is such an interesting journey, is that God allows you to experience him in a different way. And so now I'm like, this, okay. If it ain't this, is that. It's always this or that. And so I said, well, okay, you want to do this now? Let's see what we can do with this whole skin thing, right? And so we go into spiritual warfare. In spiritual warfare, what you're doing now is you're saying to the enemy to regurgitate from me, regurgitate from you the things that you took from me. Give me back that life that you were taking from me that was going to show up now. But you stripped it back then. I'm saying something without saying it because it's a lot of us living in a space right now that we're living this way because of something that happened back then. That they stripped it from you back then, and now you just now the credits are just rolling out where you can see it, and you're like, my goodness, how did this happen? Well, it happened because the enemy came in unaware of. You didn't know that the enemy came in. I'm gonna cut this short because I got another message that I want to teach you all. And so I want to talk just briefly from the subject reverse. Today is July 5th, 2025. On yesterday, we all got together, the family, and we were playing cards. We played Uno. We played spades. You know, we just had fun, like cook out, all this kind of stuff. I messed up the food, but anyway, you know, we had fun. One of the card games that we played was Uno, and Uno is a very interesting game. Many of you all know the game of Uno, and a lot of people just had fights behind Uno. Police been called behind Uno. Uno then caused people that was called themselves loving each other to break up because you reversed on me. You made me draw 2. You made me draw 4. You made me draw 4 the last hand. Then you're gonna make me draw 4 again. Then you got 2 draw 4s in your hand, and you're gonna make me draw 8 when I'm ready to Uno out, and you gonna hit me with 12 more cards. So we playing this game Uno, and I'm winning, not by design. I'm just the hand that I had. I'm just grace, right? Favor. Got a good hand. So my son is right next to me, and we going through this thing, and my son hate to lose. He hate to lose. So I said, bruh, I'm winning, and I can see it all. He just burning up, just firecracker red. He hot because he's a winner by nature. He's very competitive, and I rubbed it in. I just was letting him know, and it was comedy for me, but for him, it was just I was an irritant. And so anyway, short of a long story is I got to a place where I was getting ready to win the game again. I had 2 cards, and he was going before me, but I just was very confident. Now hear me, because this is where the enemy is at. This is our lesson today. The reverse. I was very confident that I was getting ready to Uno in, Uno out. My son looked at me. He was very irritated at me. Didn't like the way I was playing the game. And I'll just play games. I was fair. I didn't cheat. None of it. Just it happened just the way it happened. So he looked at me. He looked at his hand. He looked at me. He looked at his hand. He didn't look at me with no smile. He just looked at me with vengeance. Right? He was mad because I won about 3 or 4 games. Right? And he didn't win. I don't think he won the whole night. I don't think he won the whole night. He may have. I don't know. I don't think he did. But anyway, it was not memorable anyway, right? So I'm thinking that, I got the upper hand and that I'm getting ready to run roughshod once again in this place, right? I'm in control. I'm the man. I'm the king. So my son, he looked at his hand, he looked at me, and he threw down his card. Bam! Reverse. He ain't getting ready to let me tap out. So he throws down the reverse, and with the reverse, I couldn't play. It went around the other way. When it went around the other way, everybody else at the table, which we made a makeshift, we was out in the driveway. We had a tote, put a little glass around on top of the tote, and we did a hood style. We had so much fun. Fireworks was going on, and just everything was happening. We just had a great time. So it went around the other way. As it was going around the other way, it didn't work out in my favor. So by the time it got around to me, what I had two cards in my hand, and they was all the same suit. So when it got to me, they put it down, and I didn't have what it was. And so if you don't have what it is, I didn't have a spade that I could play. So I had to pull from the deck. Then that just messed everything up. So now we going this way. We ain't going from my son then to me this way. Now we going from me, then we go to my son. It's going this way around. And so now my whole hand and changed. I'm looking now. I'm getting cards because my daughter. I forget exactly how they did it. My daughter, my grandbaby. I forget exactly how they did it. But anyway, they set it up with a game, and they didn't do it on purpose, but that's just the cards that they had. Well, ultimately, I ended up with like five more cards. And so whereas I was supposed to Uno in, Uno out, I was supposed to, because I saw what was on the table. I saw it. I knew all the kings, diamonds, hearts. I knew everything had been played. I knew, and so I also knew that I had a real good chance. I may not have won. Just one of the cards was questionable in my hand before the reverse. Just one of the cards. So anyway, I'm looking at this thing all over again. And today I get up and I'm just walking through the house and I'm thinking about our little time yesterday. And I said, we had a great time. And I'm in the bathroom and I'm getting cleaned up. And the Lord gave me this message, reverse. And he said, reverse, reverse. And I said, Lord, are you saying to me that I need to reverse all the things that the enemy plotted and planned for my life? Reverse. There's a scripture, and I forget exactly where it is now, where it talks about the cankerworm and the palmer worm and these other worms that they came and they ate up, they destroyed the lives of the people of God, and how God would cause these servants, but they were enemies to us, but God used them to get our attention for a season. There came a time where he says, if you live right, I will go back and I will cause the enemy to your soul to regurgitate, to reverse what he has taken from you. And so, a short message, because I could go a lot of different ways with this, but I don't know who I'm talking to, but I just want to encourage somebody in this quick teaching to believe God to the place that whatever the enemy has done to you, that God is going to reverse it. But I need you to believe that. I need you to believe it, because see, the issue that we have as believers is we don't believe. That's the issue that we have as believers. You don't believe that God will do what he said that he will do in his word. So you got to believe that. You got to believe God's word for your life, and that he has the want to and the wherewithal to recapture what you lost. And the thing that we will discover mostly what we lost in life is time. The cankerworms, the palmer worms, the other worms that was there, what they chewed away in the people was time. Because in time is delay, time is innovation, time is prosperity, time is so many things in time. Being an entrepreneur, it's development. It's a lot that time is involved with. Everything that you will experience in life has some type of relationship correlation with time. And so what God is saying is that I'm going to give you back the time that you lost, the delays of your life. I'm going to give you back the strength of your life. I'm going to give you back the power of your life. I'm going to give those things back to you. Now, it just don't come just God given. There's something that you got to do as well, and I won't get into that today. But I just want somebody that's feeling very discouraged, and I don't care how bad it looks, because who would think that God is interested in turning away a wrinkle, a stretch? Who would consider that? You know, I mean, that's what the enemy wants for us. He wants us to think that whatever happens to you, that's life. And what I'm trying to get you to see is that whatever happens to you, it ain't always just life. Some of it is somebody sowed a tare amongst the wheat. And if you can believe that and capture all that, you'd be so much better, so much further ahead, so much further down the road. If you would believe that. That's the problem, is that we don't believe. So I want you to put the game of Uno in your arsenal, and I want you to remember the reversal card when you get to certain places in your life, and when the enemy has predetermined that he's getting ready to end it all for you. He's getting ready to Uno out on your life, meaning that he's getting ready to deadline you and walk away and declare himself the winner. I want you to think about the game of Uno and that reversal card, and I want you to throw that reversal card down in his face. In his face, when you right there and you ready to play, but he got a plan for you, and in that plan he get ready to win the game and take you out. I want you to throw down your reversal card and say, reverse, 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 reverse. Give me back everything that you stole from me. I want you to cough it up. I want you to throw it up. I want you to do it. And when you throw it up, all the stuff was mine. Give it back to me the way you got it. Don't give it back to me in no slop. Give it back to me in the form that you took it, if not better. In fact, require him to give you usury. That means interest. I want 20% of everything. I want it back, what you took. 20% on top of what you took from me. That's how we got to start dealing with the enemy. Because right now, he's comfortable. I mean, I do what I do. They do what they do. They comfortable. What does that mean? Christians and saints and all. What does that mean? I mean, this is what we do it here. This is what we do. You in my house. I'm over this. I'm over the airways. This part of the region. I'm over this. It's mine. But he's not over it. He's under your feet, because you are in heavenly places. It's to you that's in heaven that's got to communicate with you that's on earth. Thy will be done in heaven as it is in earth. So whatever's going on in heaven should be mirroring what is going on in the earth. Hope you got some out of this message. I am Dr. Donnie Eatman. I am the face of Face to Face. I want you to know I love you. God loves you so much more. Go with God. Go in his strength. Go in his peace. But most of all, go in his grace. Don't forget to get my book, While Man Slept. It's on Kindle for $7, electronic form. You can pick it up Amazon. That you can have it there in one day. It will help you. It's $10, and it's in a readable form, in a book form, and it will bless your life. Okay, I want y'all to know I love you. Be blessed until we meet again. And remember, don't let the shirt fool you. It's a different message, just the same shirt, same day. God bless. God bless you.